Hello everyone, myself Dr. Shubh Arora, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, GIMS Greater Noida. Once again, I welcome you all back to the lecture series of the subject Marketing Management. We are currently on the second unit and today is the fifth lecture. Today's topic is price adjustment strategies. Let's have a look at what are the different price adjustment strategies in marketing. So as you can see in the figure, there are mainly 7 strategies: discount and allowance pricing, then segmented pricing, psychological pricing, promotional pricing, geographical pricing, dynamic pricing, and international pricing. So these are 7 of the price adjustment strategies which are used by the marketer or the organization from time to time. Okay, so let's first discuss about the first kind of price adjustment strategy, that says discount and allowance pricing. So when an organization or a company tries to implement this kind of strategy, the main focus is to give the customer some kind of reward, right? And that reward can be given by giving some kind of discount on paying bills, right? Or giving some kind of cashbacks on making payments or doing transactions, or on making bulk purchases or volume purchases, right? Or if the customer buys a product which is an off-season product, that means the usage of that product is not in the current season, still the customer is buying. So the benefit to the customer would be that the customer can buy that product at a lower price, or can avail some kind of discounts or offers, or buy one get one free, buy two get three free, all this kind of offers. So these offers are categorized under discounts and allowance pricing, which are offered by the organization in order to attract the company, attract the customers of the company for enhancing or increasing the sales, right? Okay, one more type of kind of discount pricing categorized under this is that a seasonal account is a third form of account, being a price reduction to buyers who buy merchandise or services out of season, right? Now we come to the second price adjustment strategy, that is segmented pricing. That means different customers are divided into different segments, and the pricing strategy used for different segments of customers is different, right? The pricing strategy is different, right? Okay, so like it is again divided into, the segment pricing is again divided into 2 parts. One is customer segment pricing and the second is product form pricing. When we talk about customer segment pricing, it includes that different customers pay different prices for the same product or service. For example, when we visit museums and theaters, if a general public is visiting museums or theaters, the entry fee would be different, right? And if at the same place some senior citizens are going to visit or students are going to visit, they'll get a discount, right? So different segments of customers are getting the same ticket at different prices, right? Then when we talk about the segmented pricing under product form pricing, this says that different versions of the products are priced differently, right? And these differences are not due to cost differences, right? For example, if we talk about a bottle of Bisleri mineral water, it might be sold at a local market at ₹10, right? But the price of the same Bisleri mineral water may be higher if it is being sold at a boutique or a saloon or a slight sophisticated place, right? So this kind of pricing done by the organization is categorized under product form pricing of segmented pricing. Now in segmented pricing, again they are saying that some kind of pricing is done based on location based, right? In this, a firm tries to charge different prices for different locations, right? For example, they say that in USA state universities charge higher tuition fee for out of state students, right? And theaters vary their seat prices because of audience preferences of certain locations, right? So if we go to a theater and there are different categories for seat availability for booking your seat, right? So if you book a ticket for a general lounge kind of, the ticket price would be low, like then you raise your preference, then it will be slightly higher, right? So and if you choose the topmost availability, the topmost section of the theater for booking the seat, the price will be totally different, right? Movie will be same, but the your preference is increasing, so the price will also change and will increase, right? Then they are also talking about time based pricing and segmented pricing. They say that firms vary its price by the season, month, day, or even the hour. This is very commonly applied in hotel business or hotel industry. See, you might see some charge if you are going to book, if you are going for a tour or a, some kind of tour or outdoor tour, outstation tour for a week or 5 days, and you want to get a hotel book. So if you check out online the prices for booking a hotel for say 3 nights and 2 days or something like that, and the per day prices, for example, 5,000 rupees just now, and if you say look for finally you make your mind and you try to log in again and book the tickets after say 2 hours, right? So prices may vary because specifically in hotel industry prices change with the season, month wise, day wise, and even hourly wise. It totally depends how much the demand is there. If the demand is high, definitely the prices will fluctuate even on hourly basis, right? If the demand is not there, then the seller might not fluctuate the prices so frequently, right? So this comes under time based pricing and segmented pricing. So we here in the figure you can see certain all the examples, like if you talk about customer group, customer based pricing and segmented pricing, then product form, bottle or soft pack, then place based on different pricing based on geographical location, different prices at different locations, then at different timings, evening, weekends if you visit a hotel, or if we see example of Bikaner Wala, food chains like Bikaner Wala or Haldiram's, you can see that you can they often put a board that if you come for breakfast, or if you or if we take an example of this barbecue nation, they say if you first come first serve, or if you want to book a table for your dinner, you need to reach here and get your dine booked by 6 o'clock or 6:30, then you may avail a discount by this time. After that the normal charges will be there, right? So all these kinds of pricing when done, which is a time based pricing under segmented pricing, right? So we are done with the 2 types of pricing. Now let's talk about the third price adjustment strategy, that is psychological pricing. When we talk about psychological pricing, here the organization tries to adjust the prices based on certain strategies which may hit or affect the psychology of a customer, right? So basically playing with the mindset or the psychology of the customer and fixing a price which may attract the customer, because it is indirectly affecting the psychology of the customer. For example, these days we see that if you are going to buy a mug, for example, or a gift for someone, you see what is the rate? 99. It's only for 99 rupees, right? And if instead of 99 it's mentioned 100 rupees, or instead of 999 it's mentioned 1000, the psychology will totally change with the digit. So here the marketer is trying to use such digits which try to affect the psychology of the customer, and the game of digits helps the marketer to attract more and more customers. Because when we talk about 99, it says it's 99 only, and when we say 100, oh, 3 digits, right? So our perception is totally different for 99 and 100 in one go, right? We are, though the difference is only for 1 rupee, but here the digit is changing. So what we see at first sight, that makes us attracted as a customer. At first sight we say 99, okay, we get very easy and easily we are ready to buy that product, right? So this is psychological pricing, where the business tries to practice by setting up the prices which is lower than a whole number, right? Now let's have an example. In figure you can say these days 99.9% pricing is done. The tags are in 99, 149, 159, 199, 999, 899. All these are examples, and all these are examples of psychological pricing done by the marketer, right? Now let's talk about the fourth type of pricing strategy, that is promotional strategy. When we say promotional strategy, it means pricing calls for temporarily pricing products below the list price and sometimes even below cost to increase the short run sales. So here the organization is even ready to bear losses for a short period of time, right, and trying to sell or quote a price which is even below the cost which has incurred to the marketer to produce that product, right? And why this promotional kind of pricing is done by the organizations? Because here the companies are trying to create buying excitement and urgency in the minds of the customer, right? And how this promotional pricing can be done? It could be done in different forms, like in the forms of discounts from normal prices, right? And by showing that only 5 units left, 2 units left, right? These kinds of urgencies can be shown so that the customer gets very eager to buy, right? Also some special event pricing is done in promotional pricing, right? So but they are saying that promotional pricing may not be very good at all times. At times customer becomes very easy. If a particular brand comes out with a special discounts in the month of July, for example, right? So I as a customer of that particular brand would not purchase the same product in the month of June, or if I require in the month of May, I may linger on my need till July because I will be waiting for that special discount which is given by the same brand every year, right? So they are saying that this promotional pricing might have some kind of adverse effects on the organization, because the customer might keep on waiting for the right time, right? Because now the customers are very well versed what strategies or what are the right times to buy products of your brands, right? Okay, now you can have a example in the form of a figure. Here what between 26th to 28th Amazon comes out with a Diwali kind of sale, Great Indian Diwali sale, Diwali Dhamaka week, right? So if I have an urge, or if I need a television or AC in the month of July and maybe, or August first week, my AC is not working or my washing machine is totally gone in the month of September, and I know that in Diwali, during Diwali season, there is 1 week or 5 days where I can get the same products at a slashed price, right, of good brands. So why won't I wait for 1 month or 1.5 months and linger on my need and adjust so that I can get the same price at same product at lower prices, right? So this is the example of promotional pricing. Now we'll talk about the fifth kind of pricing, that is the geographical pricing. The company tries to set prices for customers located in different parts of the country or world, right? So there are 4 geographical pricing strategies. One is FOB, second is uniform delivered pricing, third is zone pricing, and fourth is freight absorption pricing. When we talk about FOB, that is free on board. Goods are placed free on board on a carrier. The customer at that point pays the freight from the factory to the destination, and the price differences are the consequences. Okay, now when we talk about uniform delivered pricing, here the company charges the same price plus the freight charges to all the customers wherever they are located, regardless of their location. So there are no geographical price differences. In FOB there were geographical price differences. In uniform delivered pricing there are no differences in the based on the geographical location of the customer. Then when we talk about the third, that is the zone pricing, here the company sets up 2 or more zones. All customers within a zone will pay the same total price. The more distant the zone, the higher the price. If the customers are not covered under those 2 zones, then the customers whose geographical location is out of those 2 zones would have to pay a different or a higher price. Then when we talk about freight absorption pricing, here the seller absorbs all or part of the freight charges. That means the freight charges are being beared by the seller. Right, and why the seller is ready to bear the freight charges? Because the seller or the marketer wants to survive in the market and wants to expand the market by attracting customers, by making the customer happy and satisfied. Right, so here the price differences based on geographical location are totally eliminated in freight absorption pricing. Now we move on. These are in one line I have tried to show you that how would we define FOB, uniform, zone, freight absorption. Now we move on to the 6th pricing, that is dynamic pricing. This is basically when the prices are adjusted continuously to meet the characteristics and needs of the individual customers and situations. So if you look back in history, prices were normally set by negotiation between buyers and sellers. Right, so prices were adjusted to the specific customer or specific situation exactly at that point. So as per the customer, the price negotiations were done, right? But here the dynamic pricing starts. Instead of using fixed price, prices are adjusted on day-to-day basis or even hour-to-hour basis, right? Why? Because when the organization is trying to do dynamic pricing, then organization is trying to consider many variables, right, many elements like current demand of the product, various inventories, looking into the cost aspect, right. So and one of the example is online auction sites like eBay, right. Next we talk about the international pricing. See, international pricing means when the prices of the products are fixed when the product is going to sell in an international market. That means the product is not going to sell in a national market, right. So companies that market their products internationally must decide what prices to charge in different countries in which they operate. The price that a company should charge in a country can depend on various factors. Now for international pricing when will be done by an organization, then at that time the organization might have to consider again some set of factors like economic conditions, competitive situations, law, rules, law and orders and regulations of that particular country in which you are doing the business, and the development of wholesale and retailing system in that particular country, right. Apart from this, consumer preferences and perceptions also vary from country to country, right, and due to this there might be some differences in the price of same product which may vary from country to country. So this was all about the price adjustment strategies.